What happens when two powerhouse voices collide? The fallout goes far beyond music. When a single question digs up years of resentment, and the cameras just keep rolling. You're about to witness one of the most jaw-dropping moments in daytime television history. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment below because this one will leave you speechless. The Kelly Clarkson Show had built its reputation on warmth. Kelly's genuine curiosity and kindness created a safe space for stars to share their stories, no gotcha questions, no ambush journalism. Which is why what happened next with Shania Twain shocked everyone. That morning, Shania arrived looking every bit the icon's signature blonde hair framing a tailored black blazer that radiated confidence and poise. But behind the flawless smile, something was different. She seemed just a little more guarded than usual. The crew chalked it up to pre-show nerves. Nothing unusual for even the biggest legends. Kelly greeted her with trademark enthusiasm. But if you looked closely, there was a flicker in her eyes, something sharper. The producers had briefed her on a few sensitive topics. And while Kelly was known for compassion, she also knew the value of asking the hard questions. The two women settled onto the famous curved couch. The audience buzzed, the lights were perfect, the cameras locked in tight. At first, everything felt effortless. Two's stars laughing, trading stories, celebrating Shania's new tour. Fans leaned in, hanging on every word, and then Kelly pivoted. "You? No, Shania, I've always admired how you've handled the highs and lows of your career with so much grace." She began, voice warm but deliberate. "Booty, want to ask about something that's been reported for a while now? I think your fans deserve to hear it directly from you." The room shifted. Shania's smile stayed, but her posture stiffened, her shoulders tightening almost imperceptibly. "Of course, Kelly," she said carefully. "I'm an open book." Kelly pressed on. "There have been persistent rumors about conflicts with other artists, particularly around song credits and collaborations that never happened. Some sources suggest certain established stars haven't always been supportive of newer talent, especially when it comes to sharing the spotlight." The studio fell silent. Even the cameramen froze, recognizing this wasn't the interview they had rehearsed for. Shania's eyes narrowed. "Kelly, I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I've always supported new artists. My track record speaks for itself." Kelly leaned forward, sensing the tension but unwilling to back down. "Well, there are specific incidents that have come up. Situations where collaborative projects ended abruptly, where creative differences got heated. People present described it as confrontational." Shania's laugh was sharp, without warmth. Sources close to the situation. "Kelly, I thought your show was above tabloid gossip. Are we really sitting here discussing rumors from unnamed sources?" The audience shifted, uncomfortably. This was not the light-hearted conversation they'd expected. Kelly's expression tightened, her voice steadier now. "These aren't just random tabloids. These are accounts from people who were actually in the room. People who witnessed what happened firsthand." That's when Shania's composure cracked. "So now we're talking about recording sessions. Kelly, I have to say I'm surprised. When I agreed to come on your show, I was told we'd be discussing my music, my tour, my fans. Not an interrogation built on industry gossip." The tension was unbearable. In the wings, Kelly's producers waved their arms, debating whether to cut to commercial or let the moment play out. Kelly herself looked torn, caught between her natural empathy and the journalist's instinct that she was digging into something big. "Shania," Kelly said, voice soft but unflinching. "I'm not trying to ambush you." Kelly leaned in, her voice calm but firm. "As someone who's been in this industry too, don't you think there's value in addressing these concerns directly? Your fans look up to you, Shania. If there are misunderstandings about your professional relationships, wouldn't it be better to clear the air?" Shania shot up from the couch so fast her mic pack tugged against its wire. The cameras scrambled. To reframe her, clear the air about what, exactly? She demanded, her voice ringing through the silent studio. About unnamed sources making vague accusations about me? Kelly, I've spent decades building my career on talent and hard work, by tearing other people down. The audience held its breath. No one moved. Kelly stayed seated, but leaned back slightly, taken off guard by the sudden intensity. Her training kicked in, her voice measured. Shania, please sit down. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I'm not attacking you, giving you the chance to set the record straight. These stories have been circulating, and your fans deserve your truth. Shania remained standing, fists clenched at her sides, the stage lights throwing sharp shadows. Across her face, her anger was unmistakable. Concerns circulating. Her voice cracked with disbelief. Kelly, do you hear yourself? You're repeating gossip like it's fact? This is exactly the kind of irresponsible journalism that ruins careers and friendships. A ripple of unease passed through the crowd. Phones came out. Some audience members secretly recording what was rapidly becoming the most dramatic moment in the show's history. Kelly's own frustration began to break through. Shania, I've been nothing but respectful. I've given you opportunities to explain your side, but the way you're reacting defensively makes me wonder if there's more truth here than you're willing to admit. Defensive. Shania's voice shot up an octave. Her composure snapped. Kelly, you ambushed me with accusations from anonymous sources, and now you're twisting my response into guilt. We're talking about my reputation, my legacy. Kelly rose to her feet now too, closing the space between them. Her tone sharpened. Your legacy. Shania, part of a legacy is accountability. If there have been conflicts, if you've been difficult to work with, don't you think your fans deserve the real you? Not the polished version crafted by publicists. The words landed like a slap. Shania flushed red, her voice low and trembling. With fury, a polished version. Kelly, I've been authentic from day one. I've shared my heartbreak, my struggles, my triumphs with no filter. For you to stand there and suggest my career is a manufactured persona that isn't just insulting, it's cruel. Kelly folded her arms, her voice now as sharp as Shania's. Then why won't you address the specific allegations? What about the recording sessions for the charity album? Or the backup singers who said you had them pulled from a project because you thought they were stealing your spotlight? Shania's eyes widened in fury, because those are lies. Fabrications. I will not dignify them with a defense. And frankly, Kelly, you're better than this. Or at least, I thought you were. The jab landed deep. Kelly stepped closer, her voice low, dangerous. Don't you dare question my integrity. I've built my career on honesty and connection. If I'm asking these questions, it's because they matter. Shania's mouth fell open, stunned. What I'm really like to work with. Kelly, do you have any idea how many artists I've mentored? How many careers I've helped launch? How many times I've stepped aside so younger talent could shine? You're standing there waving around gossip and shadows while I've got decades of real relationships and collaborations that speak louder than any rumor ever could. Kelly didn't flinch. She leaned forward, her tone cutting. Then why now, Shania? Why are these stories surfacing now? Multiple people, different projects, different years. All saying the same things about you. Are they all lying? Are they all part of some conspiracy against Shania Twain? Shania's hands trembled. Whether from anger or hurt was impossible to tell. Maybe they are lying, Kelly. Or maybe they're jealous. This industry breeds resentment. People who couldn't find the success they wanted, sometimes it's easier for them to tear down someone who has. Sometimes bitterness screams louder than truth. Kelly let out a sharp, humorless laugh. So everyone else is the problem. Everyone else is jealous, or bitter, or lying, and you're the only one telling the truth. Don't you think that sounds? A little she paused, letting the word hang. Narcissistic. The word sliced the air like glass. Shania's entire body went rigid. Her voice, when it came, was ice. Did you just call me narcissistic on your show? In front of your audience based on anonymous gossip? Kelly hesitated. She knew she'd gone too far, but pride locked her jaw. I'm calling it how I see it. You're standing there acting like the victim, like everyone else is wrong, and you're the only one who's right. That's textbook narcissism. Shania's movements turned deliberate, almost surgical, as she unclipped her microphone pack. You know what's textbook, Kelly? What you're doing right now. This, she gestured broadly to the set, to the audience, to the cameras. This is how careers get destroyed. Someone whispers a rumor. It gets repeated enough that suddenly it's treated like fact. And before long, a lifetime of work, of blood and sacrifice, gets reduced to lies. Kelly's voice rose again, sharp, defensive. Maybe, just maybe sometimes, the rumors are true. And people like you are just very, very good at playing the victim when you get called out. That was the breaking point. Shania ripped the microphone pack from her belt and hurled it onto the coffee table. The crash made the decorative pieces jump, the sound echoing across the stunned studio. Her voice dropped to a deadly calm. You know what, Kelly? I came here expecting a conversation with a fellow artist, someone who knew what it meant to have your life dissected, your choices questioned, your motives twisted by people who don't even know you. But instead, I walked straight into an ambush. For the first time, Kelly's expression flickered. Shania's tone wasn't rage anymore, it was betrayal. Shania Kelly pressed, trying to hold her ground. I do understand. Which is why I think it's important to talk about these issues openly, instead of letting them fester in the dark. Shania's voice cracked, heavy with emotion. Talk about what issues, Kelly? You haven't given me a single concrete example. Not one. Just sources and whispers. And now I'm narcissistic, fake, difficult. All because you've decided gossip is good enough. Is that what your show is now? A platform for tearing people apart? The audience sat frozen, visibly uncomfortable. Some looked furious on Shania's behalf, others stunned by the spectacle unraveling. In front of them, phones were still up, capturing every second. Behind the cameras, Kelly's producer frantically waved, signaling for a cut. But Kelly barely noticed. Her focus was locked on Shania. I'm not trying to destroy your reputation, Kelly said, her voice still firm but weaker now, fraying at the edges. I'm trying to have an honest conversation about your career, your relationships in this industry. If that makes you uncomfortable, maybe ask yourself why. Shania shook her head slowly, a sad smile tugging at her lips. You really don't get it, do you? I've been in this business more than 30 years. I've survived divorce, betrayal, illness, comebacks people swore were impossible. I've been knocked down more times than I can count, and every single time I got back up. But never in my life has someone invited me into their home, looked me in the eye, and then tried to tear me apart with nothing but rumors and innuendo. Kelly forced herself to answer, but the conviction was gone. They're not just rumors, they're credible sources. People who worked with you directly. They won't even put their names behind these accusations, Shania said, her laugh sharp and hollow. Kelly, in 30 years, have you ever known me to back down from a fight? If I'd actually done what these so-called sources claim, don't you think I'd own it? Don't you think I'd explain my side of the story? Kelly opened her mouth, but Shania cut her off with a raised hand. Let me finish. The reason I don't dignify this nonsense with a defense isn't because it's true. It's Because it's so absurd. It's like asking me to prove I'm not a unicorn. The fact that I have to stand here and argue against unspoken, faceless accusations tells me exactly what this interview was about. The cameras kept rolling, every lens locked on the unfolding disaster. Kelly's composure cracked for the first time, uncertainty flickering across her features. Shania, please. Let's just take a breath and reset. Maybe we got off on the wrong foot. Reset. Shania's voice exploded, stripped of all restraint. You called me narcissistic on national television. You implied my entire career is a fraud. You ambushed me with gossip, then acted like I'm the problem for refusing to play along with your character assassination. There is no reset after that. Kelly stepped forward, palms open in a show of calm. Look, maybe I came on too strong. Maybe I should have approached this differently. But Shania, these are conversations we need to have. We can't ignore problematic behavior just because someone is famous. Problematic behavior. Shania's laugh was sharp disbelief. Kelly, what problematic behavior? You still haven't said what I've supposedly done? You've thrown around vague references to sessions, singers, albums, but you haven't given me one specific incident to respond to. How am I supposed to defend myself against shadows? Kelly's voice faltered, frustration bleeding through. The backup singer incident. The collaborative album. Reports of you being difficult on set. Allegations that you undermined other women in the industry. Do you want me to keep going? Yes, I do, Shania snapped back instantly. Because none of that is specific. Which backup singer? Which album? Which set? You're tossing accusations like confetti and expecting me to sweep them up. That's not journalism, Kelly. That's a witch hunt. The studio had gone dead silent. Even the crew stood frozen. The weight of the confrontation pressing down on everyone present. Kelly swallowed hard, realizing she'd painted herself into a corner. Shania, I can't reveal all my sources, but the pattern is clear. Multiple people, different projects, similar stories you can't or won't specify. Shania cut in. And I'm supposed to accept guilt for things you won't even articulate? From sources you won't name. This isn't truth-seeking. This is theater. Kelly tried one last time, her voice quieter now, almost pleading. I'm not attacking you. I'm giving you a platform, a chance to set the record straight in your own words. Shania stared at her for a long beat, disappointment softening the anger in her face. Kelly, the fact that you think I need to set the record straight against accusations you won't even make tells me everything about your intentions. This was never about truth. This was about drama. For your show, your ratings. With that, she turned, heels striking the studio floor like gunshots. Shania, wait. Kelly called after her, desperation creeping into her tone. Don't leave like this. Let's finish the conversation. Shania paused at the edge of the set, turning back one last time. There is no conversation, Kelly. Just you recycling gossip and me refusing to dignify it. I came here to talk about my music, my tours, my fans. Instead, I walked into an ambush. I won't be part of it anymore. She strode toward the exit. The cameras tracked her retreat, capturing the stunned faces of the audience and crew. Kelly stood rooted in place, her expression a mix of shock and anger as the studio door slammed shut behind Shania with a resounding thud that felt final. The cameras lingered a few seconds, longer on Kelly's speechless face before cutting to black. What began as a routine celebrity interview had unraveled into one of the most explosive moments in daytime television history, a clash that laid bare the thin line between accountability and ambush, between journalism and spectacle.